Hi, I'm Adi. I'm from a suburb of Philadelphia. I am currently serving in IDF in the Rabbanut department. I did not have the profile or the health to do combat, and therefore I found other meaningful ways to contribute that weren't necessarily on the front lines in battle. My job is basically to be a representative from the Rabbanut, a religious representative for a small base, a Sayeret, an elite unit in the army. My job is similar to those of a rabbi on campus, who's in charge of religious life on campus. Mine is religious life on the base, to create a religious atmosphere, to ensure the religious rights of those who are religious, while also exposing those who aren't religious to the beauty that Judaism has to offer. When I first got to my base, I was somewhat conflicted. I had a problem. In that, I got there, and first of all, my Hebrew's awful. Second of all, I wasn't really sure what my job was or how I was supposed to accomplish it. And third of all, the base that I was going to was pretty intimidating, and most of the people there weren't so interested in religion or doing the programs that I was meant to organize. I tried organizing minyanim, or groups to daven together. And I would approach these somewhat intimidating looking people, these big sweaty guys wearing short shorts who just came back from a run. Somehow they're always right after a run. And I would be about to tap them on the shoulder, and suddenly one would slap the other one on the back and say, "Duty, you're an animal!" And I would take a step back and say, "I'll ask you guys if you want to come pray with me at a different time." Asking people to pray is not the coolest way to start a conversation, just a heads up. But that was the first problem. And second of all, I'm also a Chayil Boded. I'm a lone soldier. Being a lone soldier, being away from family, being away from home, in a foreign environment, in a weird society, not weird, different society, that led to me feeling somewhat lonely and somewhat removed from the people around me. And one way that I learned to look at this second problem also helped me deal with the first one. I started to realize that being a Chayil Boded, being a lone soldier, isn't really as unique to drafting into the Israeli army as I thought it was. That being a lone soldier really has a message for everyone, in that everyone is really alone in life. Meaning, in life sometimes we think that we have things that are permanently with us. We think we have family, we think we have friends, we think we have company, we have a home, we have things that we're comfortable with, and then suddenly as we progress in life, whether it be sooner or later in life, those things pass. And those things sometimes, unfortunately, move on. And we realize that the things that we thought were so part of us really are transient and really do move on, and yet we are stuck with ourselves. And in that regard, everyone in some ways is lonely. Everyone really is in some ways alone. And you start to realize, or I started to realize, that being a Chayil Boded doesn't mean that I'm lonely and everyone else has great friends. It really means that everyone is similar to me. It's just I have an easier way to realize it. I'm away from home, I'm away from my parents, and therefore I have an easier time, or I have an easier way to appreciate the fact that I am alone. And once I started to realize that, you start to realize that really everyone has needs and everyone is vulnerable, and therefore everyone can be helped. And for example, one night, late at night, I couldn't fall asleep, and I visited someone on Shmira. I visited someone doing guard duty in a small, cramped, little crummy booth. That big guy, Duty, who was so intimidating with all his friends in the lunchroom, all of a sudden you see him freezing cold at night, at 12 o'clock at night, scrunched up, with not wearing short shorts anymore, it's too cold for that, but we're in this little booth, and you realize that someone you thought was so cool and didn't need anything from you religious person, really you have what to contribute to him, and really he has needs and a need for you. And you have meaningful conversations with people at night, and you deal with people. And you find those situations when people are vulnerable and people really aren't as together as they might have seemed when they were in the lunchroom with all their friends. You find those times when they're closed for Shabbos, when they have to stay on base for Shabbos alone, or when they're on Shmirah late at night, or when they're coming back after being at home for a few days to who knows how long. They're going to be on the base, and you approach them with a smile, and you approach them with an ear to listen, and you find that you can really contribute a lot more than you thought you could originally. And really in life, sometimes we think that who are we? Who are we to contribute to other people around us? Who are we to give? Who are we to do something meaningful? And you start to find these situations as you try different things, as you think out of the box, as you just put yourself out there and jump a little bit, you realize that you have what to contribute and you are an inspiration.